Hello, DaleATL2. This is the Mass Analyst. I just saw your comment on Trevor Rieger's video in which you stated, "Free Trevor Rieger. Free speech is important." And I agree with you 100%. I find this comment especially interesting coming from you, in light of the fact that you've worked with Damien Estreich in the past on YouTube News, and in light of the speculation that he's at least partially responsible for Trevor being banned again and again. Now, could be that the speculation is wrong. Damien might not have anything to do with it. And if you read the YouTube blog, he obviously doesn't have the power to do this by himself, but he certainly has the ear of those who do have the power. There's a lot of speculation as to why he's being banned, and the speculation right now focuses on his exposure of Greenteagirlie's tactics, and that this appears to be a viral marketing campaign for green tea. Now, maybe YouTube is banning him because they see him as a threat to their advertising revenue, the threat to their very existence, and I can certainly understand it. But I think their tactic is backfiring on them, and I don't think it's going to have, in the long run, the desired result. I'm making this video to you in the hopes that you have the ear of someone at YouTube who can listen to some sense. Now, as I say, this is not going to get the desired result. All you have to do is look at some history. Look back at Salman Rushdie and what happened. It certainly hurt his social life when the Ayatollah put a fatwa on him. I mean, you really can't go out and do much of anything when you're worried that a million crazy Iranians are going to come out and chop off your head. But it certainly helped his book sales. His book sales went through the roof after the fatwa. He really put Salman Rushdie on the map. There's probably nothing better at promoting your adversary than to censor him. And unless you have total control, he's going to become more popular, and people will tend to sympathize with him. And they'll especially sympathize with him if he is perceived as the David versus the multi-billion-dollar, multimedia Goliath. Now, I think that this is also hurting the reputation of Greenteagirlie and the tea that she apparently fronts for. And it might be unfair for them. They may have absolutely nothing to do with Trevor's being banned. But the perception is developing that they do have something to do with this. And unfortunately, perceptions are oftentimes more important than the truth. And the perception is developing that green tea is the beverage to censor by. The perception is there that green tea is the beverage to stomp on freedom of speech rights by. And it's probably totally unprovoked. They may have nothing to do with it, but that's the perception. Now, if I were in their shoes, what I would do if I were Greenteagirlie, I'd make a video saying, "Free Trevor Rieger." Make a video in which he says, "This is wrong. Trevor must be allowed to speak. Freedom of speech is important. It's far more important than selling tea. In fact, we think it's so important that we demand Trevor to be allowed to speak, even if he says things that we don't like." Now, if she did this sort of video, then maybe green tea would be viewed as the beverage of freedom fighters. Certainly, it would make her look good. If it would make her and her company look like they're big-hearted and they are generous of spirit. And in fact, if she really wanted to do something, and what really might boost the advertisement, is if she were to invite Trevor to do a spot with them, maybe invite him to some tea. That, I think, would make an interesting advertisement and probably get a lot of people to buy tea. But in any case, there are better ways to handle this problem, and I think that YouTube's method of doing things is not in their best interest. And I'm hoping that you have the connections, Dale, to bring this across. I certainly don't have those type of connections, but and maybe you don't have the connections at this point. Maybe you wouldn't be posting this comment if your connections were still intact. I don't know what your relationship is with YouTube management right now, but if you got those connections, I hope you'll pitch the argument. Well, this has been the Masked Analyst. Under and in.